Happy Sunday fun day, everybody. I wanted to pop in here because there have been some things that I wanted to share, being that Sunday is my meal prep day and the day that I definitely encourage everybody else to meal prep so that you can get set up for the week. What I did, and I kind of posted it in the topic, was delegation. I have a ton of things that I have on my list of quote unquote things to do today. Hello, Nancy. Welcome. And so what did I do? I delegated some of my to-do list. Some of us have the luxury of doing that. I totally understand that some of us do not. One of the things that I have realized is helpful for me to take off my to-do list is delegating grocery shopping. My husband would much prefer to do it because I am, as many of us all are, emotionally stimulated by food. And when I go to the grocery store, I'm like, ooh, but we can get this. Ooh, and we can get this. And I tend to overshop. And one of the things I've recognized is that when I delegate grocery shopping to him, he gets exactly what's on the list. And sometimes he'll even have to call me and be like, I can't find this, or they don't have it, or something like that. But he also is very smart in terms of budget shopping. So he'll go to, I'm in Atlanta, so he'll go to Kroger for some things, Publix for some things, and I send him on a Costco run. So if you're able to delegate some of your stuff to someone else in your family and they're willing to do it for you, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about meal prep and getting, I know, isn't he awesome? And actually he'd prefer to do it because, again, I will overshop and I will buy stuff that, we all know, like having a tiny tummy, we're not going to eat as much as we used to. And so I literally have to plan for just a couple different things. And that's what I kind of recommend you guys do, is to have 2 or 3 different things that you're going to make for lunches and 2 or 3 things for dinner, because you're probably going to have leftovers. So what's on my meal prep list for this week? If you guys are interested in recipes or whatever, I'm happy to share it. So I'm kind of doubling up. So I'm making a hearty chicken soup. And then with I got specifically some chicken from Costco, and one of the things I'm going to do is make a hearty chicken soup, and then because I'm getting the chicken and the celery, I'm also making a buffalo chicken dip. So it's going to be obviously low carb, and then I'll be able to dip the celery in the buffalo chicken dip. So those are 2 things that I've kind of like doubled up. And then I've got something that I posted last week, which are the roll-ups. I think I may have, I'm pretty sure I posted it in the group. And one of the things I did was I posted, or maybe it was on the Bariatric Mindset page. So one of the things that I did was I posted, there were like lunge and broil roll-ups, and it's basically like cheese and meat and then carrots and cucumber. So those are for lunches. I also do turkey roll-ups. And so I keep it pretty simple, boiled eggs. So I know a lot of people get bored. So it's important that you have different little snacks that you like that you can eat throughout the week. So those are the 3 things that I kind of have on meal prep. Oh, and then slider burgers, because my son likes little slider hamburgers. So that's another, and they're bun free. So obviously, the chicken is high in protein, the hamburger patties are high in protein, the London broil is high in protein. So again, focusing on your protein and then also having your vegetables as well. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is internal resistance and self-sabotage, because this is something that's coming up for me today, and I know it'll come up for everybody else in a different way. And so I feel like because I'm going through it, I need to talk about it, because it's something that I know other people are going to encounter in other areas of their lives. So what I have been called to do, like, I have no problem live streaming. I can sit here and live stream and talk to you guys, and there's no nerves in my stomach. But one of the things that I have to work on are my YouTube videos, and I've been avoiding them like crazy. I've done a couple, I still need to upload them, but when I watch them and I edit them, I'm it's the inner critic. It's the stuff that's in my head. And so, although I work for myself, so I report to myself, that task has been given to me by the individuals that I work with that are kind of like coaching me in my business. So it's like I have to work on my YouTube videos, and I have the internal resistance that I just really don't want to. And what comes up for me is that I'm, number one, finding absolutely everything else to do. And the other thing, which is, and I've talked about it in the book, and I've talked about it in other places, like doing my very best not to put food in my mouth. And it's something that I see other people come up, struggle with in their own lives in other areas when it comes to, let's say, work or relationship issues or things like that, where when you're extremely uncomfortable in a situation in life, that's when you're either going to find absolutely everything else to do, or you're going to look for food to soothe. And so what I encourage you to do is to do what I've been doing, which is to kind of sit with that emotional resistance instead of going towards the food. So a lot of people have been saying, oh, I'm bored, or I feel this way, or I feel that way. And I'm going to eat, or I have eaten, or whatever it is. It's important that you don't eat, but it's important that you recognize what feelings are coming up, why they're coming up. I know exactly why they're coming up, but some people don't, right? So some people have not had that level of awareness where they're like, oh, this is why these feelings are coming up, or this is why I'm extremely uncomfortable. And instead they kind of go straight for the refrigerator or whatever it is. And so it's important that you start to realize why you're putting something in your mouth, or that you start to recognize what's bubbling up in you internally, so that you can examine it, so that you can look at it and go, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And then, breathe through it, take a step back. That's one strategy. Go for a walk, clear your head. That's another strategy. Talk through it. That's another strategy. For me, one of the things that I started to do was journal, and started to work on a different project. And actually, I'm just gonna work through this. And as scary as that is, I know that it's gonna help me through it. One of the things in therapy that we talk about. Yep. I love that you said this, Nancy. Yes, resisting moving forward. One of the things that we talk about in therapy is that how you get past it is by going through it. Now, I know exactly why I'm afraid, right? And it's good that you know. Okay, having started looking to become employed again, thank you for pointing this out. Problems eating protein, only seem to want easy. Yes. This is huge. This is huge because there are emotional resistance when you're like, I don't know what's on the other side. And it's really interesting because I have another client, Nancy. I have a client who comes to see me in my office, and she actually said, I really need to find work. She hadn't worked in a while. And I was like, okay, so what's coming up for you? And every single excuse in the book came up, like, oh, but this, oh, but that. And last week she came in and she's like, guess what? I found a job. She's like, I'm so excited. And I was like, that's awesome. So she's taking that step, and she's like, I don't know what's going to come. The thing that I would say to you about the job, and maybe I need to say this to myself about like the YouTube. I think the reason that YouTube is like so freaking me out is like, it's there forever, and they're gonna be like negative critics, and you know what though, there's negative critics on everything. But one of the things that I said to her is, I said, okay, so if you get a job and you don't like it, then what? You can quit. Like you don't have to stay there forever. But I think that where our brain goes is that it's forever. And then that's where the overwhelm kind of takes us away, and that's where the freaks us out. So I think what's important for us to remember is that the feelings are temporary. The feelings are temporary, and when we go through it, we actually can break through another barrier of of ourselves. So it's really pushing ourselves outside of that comfort zone. And believe me, YouTube is pushing me outside of my comfort zone for sure. And it was funny because my husband's like, you can live stream like crazy. Like, what's your deal? He's like, you can live stream, no problem. And I'm like, I have no idea. And I think it's because I have to stay on a specific topic. And when I'm live streaming, like, I can go here and I can go there. Anyway, but I think that, there's a lot of stuff that comes up when we experience emotional resistance, is that the feeling of forever in whatever situation can come up. In terms of work and becoming employed again, I'm curious, Nancy, what's coming up for you? Is it the forever philosophy that I'm talking about, or is it the structure or the rules, or what? Because I think for many of us, the idea that the emotions, right, themselves are going to have this lasting impact that kind of overwhelms us. Whereas when we work through it, like step by step, like, okay, what's the first step? Okay, what's the second step? Okay, what's the third step? And get through the active behavior, whatever it is, applying for the job, or, for me, it's the YouTube, but for somebody else, it may be a relationship issue or whatever it may be. Once we go through those series of steps and we come out the other side, we're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. But when we're going through it, it feels huge. Okay, guess what, Nancy? This is awesome. I'm glad you shared that. Rejection, fear of not being good enough. Okay, so I'm going to put on my spiritual hat for a second. I have no idea how spiritual or not spiritual you are, and that's okay, because I am a spiritual fruit, not a religious nut. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I believe that everything is happening for us, not to us. So if you do not get a specific position, I would say then that may not be the best fit for you. And so I would have trust and faith that the next thing that's coming, like, is a good fit. So I would put it out there. Okay, good. So here's what I'm going to say. This is happening for you, not to you. There have been situations in my life and in my clients' lives that they're like, oh my gosh, I want this so bad. I want this so bad. And I'm like, what if this is not coming to you at the right time? Or what if this situation is actually not for your highest and best? So what I would say is, whatever your belief system, and I'm not trying to put out what anybody's belief system needs to be, but put it out there of, I'm praying for this, or I'm hoping for this for my highest and best. This is for my highest and best. If it's not for my highest and best, then let it not happen. And I think when you have that faith and trust and kind of go into that area, then that's actually what's going to help you succeed, because then you're going to know, like, okay, that wasn't for me. That wasn't for my highest and best. Exactly. If it's meant to be, it will be. Hi, Jill. And if it's not meant to be, then it's not going to be. And you've got to be persistent in that what you want, what you desire, like, will be a good fit for you. I was just checking to see. I think my husband might be home with groceries. I might have to go in a second. But like, what will be, and that's happening for you, not to you, right? So don't look at it in terms of rejection. Look at it in terms of, oh, this may not be the best fit for me. Not that I'm not the best fit for them. Do you see how I kind of like reframed that? Not that you're not the best fit for them, but that exactly. I know, wait is definitely the hardest. Like, right now it's not the right time, or keep trying. Like, there's something else out there for you. So I definitely think that when we experience emotional resistance, yes, going outside the comfort zone. But you know what? And I have this graphic. It's like, here's you, or here's your comfort zone, and then here's where the magic happens, over here. And I get it, because I'm going through it. I mean, I think we're all like growing, and what I'm struggling with is YouTube videos. So like, that's outside my comfort zone. Like, everybody has their place, their comfort zone where it's like, I can do live streams, but the other one is like, So it's important to know what your comfort zone is. And I would start with baby steps of pushing outside your comfort zone. So Again, also not being attached to the outcome. So if you put an application out there and be like, meh, I'll try it and see what happens, but not being attached to like, oh, I have to get an interview this week, or they have to call me back. So just putting things out there, baby steps at a time, and just saying, I'm going to have fun with it. And I think actually, as I'm talking, like, these are all things that I need to hear. So I need to just have fun with it. You just need to have fun with it. And then that fun will actually create less resistance, right? So if you look at it as, oh, I love it. I need to schedule to come to Greensboro sometime this year. I think I'm going to do a tour. That would be awesome, Nancy. That would be awesome. I'd love to work with you. So I think that one of the things that you've got to do is definitely baby step it, right? So play with it like a game, like, oh, I'm just going to put out a couple of these, job applications. And then, not forget about it, but just, make it like a little fun challenge. Like, I'm going to do 1 a week, or I'm going to do 2 a week. And what's really awesome is actually 2 of my clients this past week have gotten new jobs. And not the one who I was just talking about. I guess that would be 3. So 3 of my new clients have gotten new jobs. 2 of the clients that got jobs this week had jobs. They had jobs, and they hated them. They felt like their bosses were like, they were stagnant. They weren't good places to grow. Like, one, she felt like, her boss was not railroading her, but kind of like, she felt under the gun, so to speak. And literally for the last 3 months, it was like, okay, we're going to do this. You've got, new positions. And they were, at the end of December, the 3 of them were like, the 2 of them were like, oh my gosh, I just don't know if this is going to happen. And I'm like, keep the faith, have the vision of what you want, that it's coming for you. And literally, what is this? The first week of January, and the 2 of them got job offers. One of them, I have to talk to the second one again, but one of them, it was over what she wanted to make. It was over her salary requirement. And she is like, she called me Friday, and I talked to her Wednesday, and she called me Friday. She was like, oh my God, I got the job. It's over what I asked. This is amazing. And I'm like, see, faith, trust, hope, like, you got this. So when we use these principles over time, it's not that we use them once, it's not we use them twice, but we've got to be consistent with it in order for us to really make this traction. And I totally get it. That's why I'm on here posting, because what's uncomfortable for me is doing YouTube videos, and I'm about to do them this afternoon. And once I post them, I will share them with you guys, because I have to set an example. That's why I'm in here. Accountability. You guys need accountability. Post, tag me in the post. And I will keep you to your word. So I hope that this has been helpful. Beginning of the week, back on track Sunday, get aligned, restart, and, let's see what this week can bring. I think somebody posted on the video, but maybe it was a different video, because I'm not seeing it on here. Oh, it was a different video. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Thank you, Jill and Nancy, for hopping on. If anybody else has any other comments, I saw that at some point we had 5 or 6 people on live, and now I see we have 3 people. But let's really, use this accountability. What is it that you want to do this week? Yes, committed to getting your resume updated this week. High five. I'm with you, sister. I'm with you. Just, post when you've got it done. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the group this week. And if anybody, show us what you're meal planning, what you're meal prepping, share with us. And I will, if anybody has any questions or anything, tag me. So I hope you guys have a great week. And let's bust through this internal resistance. It will not conquer us. We are bigger. We are better. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.